Hello everyone, welcome back to Blacksmith Studios. My name is Jack and today I'm going to be rambling on and on and on. So, this video will be about the Multiverse Saga and the future of the MCU to that point and possibly beyond. Now, this is literally just me talking, so this is kind of an open discussion. So, if you do wish to, make your comments and your theories be known, please comment down below. So, anyway, let's look at the Multiverse Saga so far. It's been a bit of a rough road, and yes, I will be doing sort of pitch videos for Phase 4, 5, and 6. Obviously, Phase 4 is already complete, Phase 5 is yet to be completed, and Phase 6 has not even come yet. So, you will have to wait for the latter two, but for Phase 4, obviously, I will be doing a video on that as well. But, anyway, as I said, the Multiverse Saga has been a bit of a rocky road. Phase 4 was there was a lot of projects all at once, and some were good, many people did not enjoy. I enjoyed all of them, but that's besides the point. I do see that there were many issues with Phase 4 that could have been fixed. Same with Phase 5. Phase 5, they tried to put in more quality over quantity, but in terms of some projects they've been working on before they sort of started reworking things, you can tell that they sort of were left behind, such as Secret Invasion and Quantumania. Again, I enjoyed them, but yes, there were problems. And I can see that. So, in terms of how the Multiverse Saga is going to continue, we are obviously getting more reworked projects. Now, in terms of this, we need to sort of understand what Marvel is thinking and what they're aiming for. So, of course, they're aiming for Secret Wars, and with Jonathan Majors having the legal issues, it is very unknown if Kang will play a significant role in the MCU going forward. So, let's look at it this way. We've got the mutants now, which is very much what Marvel are laying into. With Deadpool and Wolverine, this will be sort of a setup for Secret Wars, as well as the Fantastic Four. Now, we are also getting projects such as Daredevil Born Again. We're also getting the Agatha show, the Ironheart show, possibly Armor Wars, a Spider-Man 4, a Shang-Chi 2, and there are even rumors of a Thor 5, as well as these X-Men reboots as well, apparently. Now, of course, within all that, we get the TV shows and everything, and you realize that it is very varied, and they may need to rush the ending for Secret Wars. This is why Marvel really need to put out a Phase 5 and a Phase 6 timeline so that we can sort of gauge where we're going. So, we are very varied in the projects that we're getting. We're getting street-level ones, and we're getting very multiverse ones. And obviously, it's the question of how Marvel are really going to work it. Because they've got these huge amounts of characters, especially with the multiverse added on, and we just need to clock how they're going to go about it. So, this is where this discussion comes from. Where is Marvel heading? Now, there are recent reports of Eternals 2 and Ant-Man 4 being projects that have been cancelled, along with Captain Marvel 3. Now, I think they were being worked on for post-Secret Wars, but now they're just going to be completely removed because people may not enjoy them and they do not feel like they'll be sure things. Now, this is a stupid decision from Marvel, but it's kind of what the fans have been asking for. We've asked for less projects and better quality. Marvel are doing that, but they're removing some projects that some people like, such as Ant-Man, such as Captain Marvel. Yes, the Marvels had its faults. I enjoyed the Marvels, and Quantumania had its faults. But it's the way they can go forward with those faults and learn from it. And unfortunately, it looks like Marvel Studios aren't willing to take that risk. And that is really down to the fans, to be honest. It is, yes, Marvel should be working on their quality, and they should have been focusing on widening their scope, making the projects further apart, and making sure that they're getting the proper time and effort needed. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that. That didn't happen, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to happen in future because they're going to be doing less of these projects. So that is kind of down to the fans. But it is what it is. we may not get these projects, but we may have these storylines that they're planning implemented into other projects. So let's look at Eternals, for example. Eternals is going to be a part of the MCU, and I'm sure that they will play a role in Avengers 5, or at least Secret Wars, and possibly even the MCU after the soft reboot, if there was a soft reboot. But how would they do this? So my personal thought is to just do a Guardians of the Galaxy film with the Eternals added on. So it would be more of a cosmic Avengers team rather than just a Guardians of the Galaxy. You could even include characters like Captain Marvel into that. This would allow these projects to exist in one whole project, and the story's being told, the characters are being put in their right positions for when Secret Wars happens. Whether Guardians Volume 4 happens before Secret Wars is probably very unlikely, but if they can at least sort it for after Secret Wars, that would be an ideal situation. So this is where we're at. Deadpool and Wolverine has yet to be released, and I'm sure that will be an incredible movie. And of course, they look like they're working on their projects very hard. Shang-Chi 2 is something many people have wanted. Thor 5 is something that people are very wary of. Spider-Man 4 looks like it's getting the proper treatment it deserves, with Tom Holland joining the creative team. And of course, Avengers 5 is now ready for development very shortly. Even Marvel are asking the Avengers actors to put aside their timelines. So I do believe that this is where Marvel is going. I believe they are going to be setting up a new Avengers project in place of Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty, so that we have these grounded Avengers. We have these Avengers on Earth that we haven't seen together in ages, and Sam Wilson is gathering them all up together to form the new Avengers. Alongside that, I believe we will be getting a Young Avengers project to sort of sideline that and go alongside it. I believe a show would work well for that, but again, a movie would be great. And then, in terms of the sort of Guardians of the Galaxy team and the Eternals, they would just be standing by for when Secret Wars happens. My personal opinion is that the Eternals should take a back seat in the finale of the Multiverse Saga until after the soft reboot, so that they can sort of have that place. I think that you would be rushing things if you were trying to just... I mean, the end of Eternals left it on a cliffhanger. You can't just ignore that or even just fill in the blanks really quickly. You kind of need that to continue somewhere, and a soft reboot would be an ideal situation. Now, of course, with the grounded Avengers characters, you could have the new Avengers, and you could have this large team where they're all together, and then at the end, you can throw them into Secret Wars. Now, this would work well, because then you have certain projects such as Spider-Man 4, Shang-Chi 2, which actually, I do believe Shang-Chi 2 will tie into Secret Wars, but let's say, Captain America 4, as well as obviously the past projects, Hawkeye, She-Hulk, and things like that. I believe that these projects will tie all into the new Avengers project, which will be Avengers 5, and then they'll be thrown into Avengers 6 Secret Wars. Now, I also think that Secret Wars needs to be split up into 2 movies. This gives Marvel the right amount of time to build on what they are planning. They are planning for this huge finale, which is not only a finale for the MCU, but for anything before the MCU, such as the Mutants and all the Fox X-Men characters, the Fantastic Four, the Sonyverse. This is their chance to start anew, and they are planning to bring in even Venom into the MCU and other Sonyverse characters. Secret Wars needs to be split up. So I believe Secret Wars should be... This is how the sort of Avengers timeline needs to be. We need to have a build-up of projects into both Secret Wars and a new Avengers project. So they sort of separate themselves that way. So we have a new Avengers project, which is everything on grounded level on Earth. And then we have other projects such as Deadpool and Wolverine, Shang-Chi 2, The Fantastic Four, building up to Secret Wars Part 1. Then the 2 movies sort of culminate together into a Avengers Secret Wars Part 2, where we see both the multiversal heroes and the Avengers, the new Avengers, teaming up together to face the true villain, whether that's Doom or Kang or the Beyonder. I just don't know. I think Secret Wars Part 1 should be focused on these multiversal heroes, exploring the landscape of Battleworld and trying to figure out what's happened, how they can fix it, and how they can get the heroes from 616, for example. Or maybe the Avengers from 616 are already there and they're trying to rescue them. I just believe that these projects need to be split up. We need to be spending time with these characters which have been built up in mass, and we need to realize that these characters need to be three-dimensional, not just two-dimensional, if that makes sense. So She-Hulk, I love She-Hulk. Many people didn't, but we need to see more of her. We're also getting a Wonder Man show. We would only have one Wonder Man project since. Ironheart has had a film and will have a show, which will be good. But we need to enjoy these characters a bit and feel for them a bit. So I think a new Avengers project will be good for that. I think a Young Avengers project will help split that up as well to focus on Miss Marvel, Kate Bishop, Cassie Lang, even characters like Billy Maximoff, Wanda's kid, and Tommy Maximoff, Wanda's other kid. It allows that. So you could have those two projects, really introduce these characters and their dynamics together, because we've never seen Sam Wilson interact with She-Hulk. And Thunderbolts is obviously kind of a Dark Avengers project, and we need to see those characters interact with the Avengers as well if they're going to take a part in Secret Wars. And so obviously that has now caused a bit of a dilemma, and it's whether or not Marvel saves some of these stories after Secret Wars. Personally, I think they are setting up all these characters, and they need to have projects to tie them in together so that Secret Wars can end very well with a project for the Young Avengers, project for the New Avengers, and a project Secret Wars Part 1 for the multiversal Avengers, such as Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, Deadpool, Spider-Man, both Tobey Maguire's and Andrew Garfield's, some of the other heroes, maybe Ben Affleck's Daredevil, Jennifer Garner's Elektra, who we will be seeing in Deadpool and Wolverine, but then the Fantastic Four as well, and how that works. I think that's the sort of dynamic we need to be getting. We know the Guardians, we've seen their sort of finale, and so we could just pop them into Secret Wars. So that's how I believe it should happen. Secret Wars Part 1 could literally just be the multiversal heroes fighting Kang, and then they realize there's a bigger threat and they have to bring in the Avengers from 616. Or maybe the Avengers from 616 are, having an incursion, and to save them from this incursion, they are pulled into the void, which is now Battleworld, and they have to face the Beyonder. They could do many number of things, but I think they need to start making these projects more about that dynamic between these characters as well, and making Avengers 5 less multiversal and more grounded is a good way of doing it. We have the New Avengers project, then the Young Avengers project, then Avengers Secret Wars Part 1 for the multiverse, then Secret Wars Part 2 to tie it all in and reset. Franklin Richards could do it, reset the universe, start again, and all these characters could exist in one universe. There are obviously dilemmas and issues with that for me, because I believe that then you're kind of just throwing away a lot of what the characters have been through. If you bring in back Captain America, does that mean Sam Wilson goes back to Falcon? It kind of negates his journey. Or is his purpose as Captain America to lead the New Avengers, and he's passing that role back to Captain America, who should have had it? Was Iron Man meant to die? Was Captain America never meant to go and grow old with Peggy? It should answer all these questions, and I'm afraid that Marvel may struggle with this. So these are just my thoughts. Obviously, it's just me rambling, and I do apologize if it's a boring video, but please tell me what you guys think, because the Multiverse Saga, yes, I've enjoyed it, but I can see there are holes in it. And I am concerned for when the soft reboot comes along, as I don't want them to use the soft reboot as an excuse to start again. I want them to work hard for the rest of the Multiverse Saga, so that when the soft reboot comes around, we can enjoy it with as much. It needs to bring in those fans again. And I'm hoping that we can get there. Many people are worried about Marvel cancelling certain projects and focusing on other things, like sure things. And yeah, it is a shame, because we may never get an Ant-Man movie again. But if Marvel want this plan, then I do think that this is a good way of doing it. And I'm sure if Kevin Feige is planning a soft reboot, I'm sure he'll want to put us in the best position so that we can get good projects afterwards. And I do think that his version of the soft reboot is to rival DC's new universe, so that we can get a nice flow of projects, just like DC. But we shall see. Please let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you did like me rambling on over and over, please like and subscribe for more content like this. And I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day.